Hello, my name is Laura. You'll hear another voice in this video, and that is my husband's voice, but you're not going to see him. We have questions that are sent to us all the time. Today we're going to answer two questions in this video. They're both about death. The first question, what happens when we die? And then the second question, why are people afraid to die? My husband is going to join us now, and he's going to start sharing some ideas or start talking about this topic with us. Honey? Are you going to speak? Oh, cut it out! Just because I can't see you doesn't mean they can't hear you. You're right next to the microphone.
No, I just find out they're hearing me while I'm talking. Frequency.
Okay, if you heard that frequency, make sure you comment and let us know. I didn't. I just saw his mouth moving.
Okay, so why do I have to start? How about you? You've had some experiences with that, I think, haven't you? Or we've had stories.
We have some stories, yes.
I want to say we receive questions. We have questions from all over the place, right? It's not just from the subscribers.
No, it's not just from YouTube subscribers. Exactly. It can be
or
from
Facebook subscribers.
Right. It could be any media.
Right.
Even email or phone calls.
No, but I mean, there are even people that we don't know. They're not part of the subscription list, is what I'm saying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all right, let's get to the questions. Why are people afraid of death? That's the question, right? One of them. Right.
I think with that one, a lot of times it's fear of the unknown for most people.
Now, is this from your experience?
From my experience.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Fear of the unknown, and also based on their upbringing, if they had any kind of religious or spiritual upbringing, like for my family, it's fear of, am I going to go to purgatory or down to you-know-where and suffer eternal torture.
Okay. So when you say personal experience, what do you mean? Did you have like near-death experience?
No, it's from relatives who were dying and or have passed and crossed over.
Are you going to give details? Because right now you're answering like an attorney. You just give the answer.
For example.
You don't have to give your relatives names if you don't want to.
Oh, I know. Okay. I don't even know some of their names. But my grandfather, my mom's dad.
If you don't know your grandfather, how will you know what?
Well, I know it's him because when... here's how it happened. No.
As far as the death experience.
Oh, well, this is just the unknown.
Okay, got it.
As far as I know, he didn't want to die. He did end up dying. And then when my husband was doing work one day, my grandfather came through. And of course, I didn't know him, but my husband described what he looked like and gave me some information that only my mom would know, and she confirmed it. And it turned out that he didn't know what was happening, what took place after he died. So he was here, just floating around the earth, if you will, not knowing what to do or where to go. And my husband explained to him what's supposed to take place, and the reason why he decided to come for help was because he saw that when my husband would work with souls, they would be led somewhere and they wouldn't be here on the earth plane anymore. So he decided to follow and see what was happening. And my husband explained, you're supposed to cross over and go back and learn about the life you just lived and set a plan for what will happen next. So that's one example.
That's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
I don't remember that. But anyway.
I know you don't. That's how I record everything.
So that's one grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other stories? That was fascinating, by the way. How long ago did he pass away?
Oh gosh, early 1970s.
Huh?
Oh yes,
That's
I think
a long
it
time
was
ago.
Shortly after my parents were married, so maybe 72, 73.
And he's been on the earth the whole time?
Yes, the whole time.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
So what happened to all that Catholic praying about making sure that they don't stay here?
Oh, I don't, from my family standpoint, I don't know if anybody prayed for him. I know I never did.
That's very nice.
I don't even know if he
That's
was
sarcastic, by the way.
Yes, I don't even know if he was Catholic. So I couldn't say from that standpoint.
Well, thank God he's over on the other side now, right?
Yes.
Do you have any other stories? Thanks for sharing that one. That was interesting.
Yes. As far as the fear of what will happen when you die, I can only refer to the movie. Oh, not that I can only refer to it, but the only one that I know for sure is the movie No Solar, where the soul, he experienced what people would call, hell or purgatory, but that was all based on his perception of what life was like and what he would experience upon death. I only know of one person who tells a story of a near-death experience where they had that happen, but...
Well, your uncle that recently passed away, why did he not pass away right away?
Oh, I think that was fear of the unknown.
Exactly.
More than anything.
We dealt with him.
Right.
So I thought you wanted to talk about his experience.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry, Uncle Richard. I'm sure he's probably listening, shaking his head. I just died recently. But he was one that, when my father passed away, a message came through for me that they were preparing for Uncle Richard and he would be passing and crossing over soon. Over a year later, he was still with us. Like, what's going on with Uncle Richard, Kept getting messages. Laura, your uncle is seeing people that aren't there. And
message from who?
From my mom.
Oh, okay.
That he was seeing people who weren't there from his caretakers and talking just out of the blue to the air. But he kept saying he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go. And finally, it was told to us that my mom should talk to him and explain to him what to expect, what will happen when he dies, when he crosses over. And once she did that, he finally transitioned, like within a couple weeks.
Now you said told to us. Who are you talking about? Us who? You're talking very general terms.
Well, my husband does work, and when
you're talking about us as in you and I.
Yeah, it's you and I.
See, and when my husband, so I'm sure if you.
Well, when my husband is working, messages will come through, and I write them down, I record them, and I get the messages to wherever they're supposed to go, whomever they're supposed to be given to. And so when I say we, I mean the messages were given to me to pass on to my mom, so she could help my uncle.
So we received the message.
We receive it.
Oh, okay.
You receive it.
Okay. And so then she talked to him and he decided, okay, time to go.
Yes.
Do you remember why he didn't want to go? I mean, fear of the unknown, but what exactly was the fear of? What unknown was he afraid of?
He didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
He just really did not know, if I leave here, what's going to happen to me? Even though, from my understanding, he was seeing sisters, brothers, and other relatives, parents who were all crossed over, coming to talk to him, but he was not making the connection of what would take place.
And he was Catholic?
No.
Really?
No, Uncle Richard was Lutheran.
Oh, that's messed up.
Oh, it was a big family thing.
Then how come he wasn't disowned?
The gross classes were all Lutheran. My grandfather and my grandmother was Catholic, and she had my grandfather convert to Catholicism, and that put a big rip in the family. And we didn't even meet Uncle Richard until our great-grandmother had passed away, because she did not want them mingling with us.
The beauty of religion, huh?
Yes.
And it's supposed to bring people together.
Yes.
Amazing. That's a different topic. You should write that down.
I will.
How people use religion to hate their siblings, hate their family members, just tear relationships apart.
Yes.
And they forget the most important thing. That
love
God,
one another.
Exactly. Anyway, that's for another story.
Yes, another time. Another video.
So, well, let's see.
So I think those are reasons why people are afraid of death, because they really just don't know what's going to happen, or based on their religious, like for me, I was afraid of death. I was terrified of dying because I figured, growing up as a Catholic and told everything I did against the Ten Commandments is a sin, I figured, well, of course, I am not going to heaven. I'm going to suffer eternal damnation. What
were you doing while you were so afraid of dying?
I'm not listing my sins on this video. There was nothing really bad. had to, if I look at it now, I'm like, well, people do that stuff all the time. But for me, it was catastrophic. Yes, I used to say a lot of curse words.
Yeah.
Swear
That will
words.
get you to you know where, according to the Catholic Church.
According to Catholic Church, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but then there's another reason as well. From what, as I'm thinking, then I got thrown off because you said you had all these sins, which I guess you have all these sins. You don't sin. What are you talking about? I don't remember what it is now. You really threw me off.
I'm so sorry.
Next time, don't say things like that, unexpected things like that.
Don't prompt me.
Folks, my wife doesn't sin. Okay, I don't get what you say. Don't believe her with that. Anyway, let's continue. It will come to me.
Okay, so I think.
Right. This one, because we had this one happen with my Korean sister, where her husband didn't want to die because he was worried about her, what would happen with her.
Right, yes, there are those individuals.
Exactly. So we have individuals that are concerned about their loved ones that they're leaving behind.
Yes.
And then there are also individuals who don't want to leave, not because they don't want to leave, but their loved ones are telling them not to go.
Right, they're hanging on to them.
Right? And so they feel bad about leaving because they're going to leave them behind. But it's not because they're the ones feeling that way. It's because their loved ones are saying, what are we going to do without you? We need you.
Right, they're holding on to them. They're not letting them have that
That's
chance
correct.
to do what they feel they should do. Well, I know for my dad, he was given the choice.
He wasn't given the choice.
Well,
you talked to him.
I talked to him.
Why did he not want to leave?
I think because he was concerned about my mom and my siblings.
Well, didn't he tell you that?
No.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's the message I received, though.
Oh, okay.
Thinking back.
Okay.
Right.
So he was concerned about you guys.
Right.
And then what happened? See, all of a sudden your memory's coming back.
Yes. And once I talked to my dad because he was dying, and I went and I talked to him in the hospital and told him, it's your choice. You've lived your life. You've done what you're supposed to do, what you came to do. You can go, and I'm fine with it. The rest of the family, I wouldn't say who cares, but they'll be fine. And then I said, but Dad, if you want to continue living, then it's your choice. You can stay with us and continue on. And he did for 7 years.
After that conversation.
After that conversation.
Right. So going back to why people are afraid of dying, we're talking about concerns for their loved ones.
Right.
Either concerns that they have brought upon themselves, or concern because the loved ones refuse to let them go, and they literally have them feeling guilty, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could you do this to me?
Right.
Don't you dare do this to me. Things like that. Or we're going to miss you.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of the unknown, for sure. Any others? Did you list something else that I forgot to mention?
Just the religious beliefs one. We just you
Okay,
covered
religious,
that.
right? Religious
Right.
beliefs, for sure.
Right.
And that would bring on the fear of the unknown type
Right.
thing.
Definitely.
Especially if you're not Catholic, because if you're not Catholic, you'll be any other religion, you're not going to make it. Just to let you know, all right? So everybody watching this video, make sure you become Catholic.
We're Catholic, by the way, so that's why we do this.
And by the way, we've been mistreated by the Catholic community because of these videos. Some people they think that we're against Catholicism.
We're not.
And we're not.
It's enhanced our life
Exactly.
at the Catholic Church.
Anyway, so that's
that all.
part.
Right. Why
There's a
people
reason
are
why people are
afraid
afraid, right.
of dying. Why
Uh-huh.
they're afraid of death. Okay. So then, what was the other question? What happens when you die?
Okay, so let's get to what happens when you die. I guess that will be more my area because I've experienced that more. I haven't had any near-death experiences,
Right.
but the beauty of it is that individuals that are passing away have actually provided me with the honor of understanding what they go through. They've shown me and they've gotten me involved in their process. So I don't have any near-death experiences at all, thank God, I think. But I do have experiences of accompanying individuals that are passing away. And it's a beautiful experience, just so you know. And I think by the time we're done with this, folks will not be afraid of dying. Because literally all you're doing is, and it's been explained this way by many individuals that have come through to their loved ones through us, right? And they say it's like walking through a door. Imagine you're in one room, and like you're in a bedroom, and your door's closed, and you open your bedroom door, and you walk into the hallway, and then you close your bedroom door. Well, going from a bedroom door to a hallway is a completely different dimension, is the way they explain it. So all of a sudden you open up to a whole different universe where everything's happening at the same time, where there is no difference in race or color or religion, and none of that exists at all, because it only exists here on earth, where human beings have to differentiate between different things. Once you go through a dimension, it's not there. That's literally how it's described. So when someone passes, and that's really the correct term, when they pass, they're passing from one dimension, which is this dimension, into a higher dimension. They're passing through a portal, like a doorway. And we're able to see the doorway because we're not at a level of frequency yet.
A lot of people describe it as a light. They see a light and they walk toward that light.
That's correct. Well, the ones with the near-death experiences, they say, oh yes, I see this light. Now, why does it come out like a light? Because it's a frequency, right? And so, of course, for them, because of where they are, their frequency has been brought up to the point where they can see the light. So they're walking towards this light. To them, they're walking towards a light, all right? But that's not really what's happening, but that's the way they see it, because that's how they've been programmed on Earth.
Okay.
So everything happens depending on how you've been programmed on Earth. Some people tell, when they have their near-death experiences, they didn't see a light, they didn't see a tunnel. Instead, they saw angels, or they saw Jesus, or Jesus went with them, right? Or they saw their relatives. Each person experience is different based on the culture they come from.
Well, just with us, my husband's uncle was a brother with the Catholic Church, and when he was going through the transition, as I call it, from life to the other world, then we were in the room with him one day, and Brother Tom was just laying there, very peaceful, very quiet, still breathing and everything, and all of a sudden, my husband just had tears coming down his face and said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, Brother Tom is showing me his garden that he has on the other side, and he's showing me that Jesus is taking him different places and they're walking together." And just the whole way my husband described everything, it was, as he was discussing it, all of a sudden I felt the love in the room, and I just started crying, and I'm like, why am I crying? And it wasn't like I was trying to cry, I was sad, it was just so peaceful and loving, and that's what we were experiencing. So that was really fun to go through that. Well, for me, it was fun. I it's not like I wasn't sad that Brother Tom was, crossing over, but it was a nice experience to have. And then, of course, he completed his transition. Next morning, we got the call, he was gone.
Right. Which we knew was happening.
Right.
Because he told us that he was ready to go. But the point was that he already took me to where he was. He was already there. Physically, he was on earth, but spiritually, he was already where he was supposed to be. And he was very happy.
Yes.
He even jumped and showed me, look, I can walk. He was here to tell me walking, keeping his balance. And he showed me, I can walk. He was jumping up and down. And so by the time he passed, I was not worried, because I knew he was in a much better place than when he was on earth.
Right.
And if everybody knew this, if everybody understood that when they go, they're in a better place. All the challenges that they've had on earth are over. They're gone. They're starting over. All the burden is gone. It's the soul starting over.
And that's a question that comes up too. I just want to know if they're safe, or if they're still in pain, or that they're pain-free. Everything is gone.
Right.
Anything you experienced here on earth, all the suffering, whatever you might want to call it, is gone. So now you've transitioned over, and it's a very peaceful place.
Not only that, but like my Korean sister, right? Her husband told us a week before he passed away. So okay, stop treating me. You know, I appreciate it, but I'm ready to go now. He said, tell my wife, and then he had that conversation with his wife about what his plans are. There's certain things he wanted to get done before he passed on. But we already knew he had 1 week to get everything done. He told us, in 1 week, I'm leaving. So help me get all these things done. But same thing with him. He took me and we took a walk, and he could breathe clearly because he had a challenge breathing, right? And he said, look at me. And I'm ready. I'm very happy. And, you know, let her know I'm very happy. There's nothing to be concerned about. Nobody passes on and then stays in the condition that they were in before. It doesn't happen. That would be very unfair of God to do. That's when they talk about purgatory. I have never had a soul that passed and took me to a purgatory. I haven't seen that. They take me, there are different levels of heaven, yes, but none is a purgatory. They've taken me to where they are supposed to be, and they're already there spiritually to get their training, either to come back or to move on to a different plane. That's the way it goes. And in every situation, they express that they want to make sure that their loved ones know that they're happy and they're fine. And they shouldn't worry about it, that things are way better over there than when they were on earth. So hopefully that helps individuals. Now, if you know that, then why would you be afraid to die?
I wouldn't.
Right? And again, I have experiences with people from different faiths. So it's not like, okay, you're Catholic and this one is a different, and then in each case, because they're Catholic, they went to the good place. That's how it works. God didn't say, oh, well, we have a place just for Hindus, and we have a place just for well, we don't have any place for people that follow Buddhism, or there's no place for anybody else, unless if you're Catholic, unless if you're Christian. There you go, not even Catholic.
Unless if you're been born again even.
Exactly.
That's another one.
That's not how it goes. You know, as long...
Or the Jehovah's Witness, only a certain few are allowed in.
Right, no, that's not how it goes. You know, it's one heaven, and it's for everybody. It doesn't matter what the religion is. Religion is just what you identify with here on earth to connect with God. That's why it's sad to see individuals that take religion and use it as a tool against people in a negative way. To say, oh, because you're not doing this, then I don't want to deal with you. Because that's the complete opposite of what religion is supposed to be. You know, it really shouldn't matter what somebody's belief is, as long as it's positive. But that's what people do. In death, we actually excel. We become a better being. Not human being, but a better being. So we should look forward to it, because if we're supposed to come back, then we get the training we need to come back. We're reborn. It could be on earth here somewhere. It could be somewhere else. And if we're not supposed to come back, that means that we've ascended. We've become an ascended master. Like Jesus and Moses and Elijah and all the other wonderful Buddha, Krishna. And some folks might not like the fact that I use words like Krishna and Buddha. But guess what? They're ascended masters. And whether or not you accept that won't change that they're ascended masters. If you just accept Jesus, great for you. All right? The fact is that Krishna, Buddha, Muhammad, and all the other heads, all the other prophets for all the other religions, most of them that I am aware of, they're already ascended masters. And they will help you anyway. You can have something against Krishna. And if Krishna sees that you're in trouble, he can help you, he's going to help you anyway. And I say, well, that person doesn't like me, so I'm not going to help that person. They don't do that. So, hopefully everyone understands that there is no reason to be afraid of death.
Correct.
Again, when I say you should look forward to dying, you don't want to commit suicide.
No.
Because that's a big no-no, right? You're supposed to die naturally. When your time comes, it's going to happen. And suicide doesn't do it. Right?
If you're contemplating that, please let us know immediately.
Right. So we can help you past that. Because more than likely you're being affected by
an
possessions
outside
or attachments.
force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not yourself. Believe me if you're thinking that. But transitioning or passing is going from one dimension to another. It's a wonderful experience. And the experience only gets better than what it was on earth. Bottom line. So there really isn't any reason to be afraid. Not from our experience, at least.
Correct. Okay. I think that covers the topic.
Okay.
We've got it covered. If you have any other questions.
No. Before we end, the individuals that tell their loved ones, don't leave, they shouldn't do that. Because again, they're only doing that because they don't know where this person is going to go, or they think they can't function without the individual.
Right.
And they should think more about if they really love this individual, they should let the individual go. Mm-hmm. Because their time on earth is up and they have other things to do. They need to pass on to get those things accomplished.
And they also have things that they need to do, the one who's still living.
That's correct.
And so,
to deal with the living.
Exactly. So by letting them go, it will help you move forward. It will help them move forward.
That's right.
And you both get to where you need to go. And they're always still there. You can still talk to them. And they will be there to help you. And you'll know it. People say all the time, oh, whenever I have this happen to me, I know it's my grandfather who's helping me and right there with me. You'll know.
Okay.
Fantastic. I think this was a very helpful topic for me, at least. Again, if you have any questions or concerns or clarification, please be sure to let us know. You can find us at 190 Vision on Facebook, Instagram. Our website is 190vision.com, and of course YouTube 190 Vision as well.